all season long when everyone will be coming for you? Are you mentally ready to have that big X on your back? That's very much what we all do at Texas, and I believe we strive to change the story. Everyone else is our target. Target isn't on our side, huh? Everybody else had a red dot on them. DNA and the manner in which they handle different quarterbacks based on their identity. They also provide grace to them. He is constantly showered with grace by them, and this is a regular occurrence. He will be heterosexual. Football or not, all of the Sanders will be straight. You had better believe that. You had better believe that. I understand you. Hey, the NFL doesn't want Shedeur Sanders to represent the sport, and it's becoming very evident that this is more than just football. Let's assume that they would have welcomed Shedeur if he had been reared by a single mother. They don't want to emphasize being a black man and having a successful son. Deion Sanders also notices it. He's been making an effort to be positive and ignore the blatant bias, but he's had enough. You see, Shedeur must battle for the recognition he has already won, while the league and the media apparatus are already laying the groundwork for Arch Manning to be crowned the next Golden Boy. Consider it. Arch just ended the 14-7 loss against Ohio State with 170 throwing yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception after a rough start to the season at Texas. However, the media and analysts are already offering him numerous justifications. The same analysts were claiming that Shedeur is overrated and unworthy of his position, despite the fact that he can throw for over 4,000 yards and score 37 touchdowns. The NFL is attempting to influence who will represent the next generation according to the narrative that is being promoted. Does the media's treatment of Arch Manning and Shedeur Sanders constitute a double standard? Absolutely. One is white, the other is black. And this is the reason it's so profound. There is more to this than Shedeur versus Arch. 2 dynasties are at issue. They are football royalty, the Mannings. Peyton, Eli, Archie, and the rest of the family are all about. Every week, Peyton appears on TV. Eli has a show of his own, and sponsors adore it. They are the epitome of marketable, safe, and all-American. Now contrast that with the Sanders household. Primetime with Deion Sanders. Bold, self-assured, and disruptive. He is more than a coach. He is a force in culture. I dress the way I do because I'm confident, so don't let that make you feel insecure. His confidence is the reason I look the way I do. We are confident, which is why we walk the way we do. I'm not even wearing cologne. Now that this, could someone please tell me what you're wearing? Confidence, I say. Shedeur shared the same enthusiasm. A wrist-worn Rolex watch, self-assurance, unrepentant to become the best. NFL team GOAT. Sanders Jr., a GOAT singer, and Shedeur Sanders, a GOAT athlete, will choose me. Give us your best SI cover pose, Tylo Sanders. Star of the GOAT TV series Coach Prime. Yes, furthermore, isn't it ironic that although Archie Manning's support of his son Eli was perfectly okay, Deion's support of Shedeur was problematic and even disrespectful? The NFL and the media apparatus feel threatened because of this. Because if Shedeur takes on the role of league spokesperson, it will completely alter the perception of what a quarterback should look like. Because, let's not forget, out of the 32 NFL franchises, not a single one is 100% black-owned. White millionaires and family dynasties own or control the bulk of all 32 franchises. Black people own a small number of minority stakes, but none hold majority ownership. Let's talk about Arch Manning, though. The statistics are as follows. In his debut, Arch had 17 completions on 30 attempts, 170 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. Texas loses against Ohio State by 7 points. At best, that's average. However, all you heard on ESPN the following morning were justifications, and every commentator leaped to his defense. Steve Sarachan, the coach at Longhorn, backed Arch as well, saying, "It's not his fault that the expectations were out of control on the outside." Tom Brady felt compelled to stand up for Arch. Additionally, he told Pro Football Focus that Arch performed well, and that he was just under too much pressure from football pundits and social media supporters. A lot of these men are really young and don't use Twitter and social media, and you can quickly bring someone down and make them look amazing. Additionally, in the past, you had to wait until the following day's publication of the paper to make a true assessment. In the digital age, however, it takes 5 seconds. Even if they lost and he didn't play at his best today, Arch, he will be tougher if he takes advantage of this. Dan Orlovsky, meanwhile, attributed Arch's rocky debut to the coaching. On X, he also wrote this. Imagine having the training wheels on every game and a quarterback with generational skill. This isn't something you can make up. Arch hasn't done anything to earn their attempt to crown him. He has really participated in 3 games. How can people already tell that he is a generational talent? Additionally, Shedeur was at fault last week, but this week the coaches are to blame. Let's now examine Shedeur's Colorado stats from the previous season. He transformed a program that had only won one game the previous season into a weekly national headline, with over 4,000 yards of passing, 37 touchdowns, and numerous comeback victories. And keep in mind that he accomplished all of that while playing behind one of college football's worst offensive lines. The man continued to provide dimes while being fired 5 or 6 times every game. What were the media's reactions to that then? Well, let's watch him attempt it in the face of actual competition. The NFL isn't ready for him. If he isn't winning in the Pac-12, his stats are meaningless. Stories purporting to be from NFL insiders asserting that Shedeur is the most overhyped player in history were literally being promoted by the mainstream media. Many individuals are witnessing exactly what is taking place here. It was pointed out by Shannon Sharp and Ooh that Shedeur receives criticism even when he is dominating, but Arch is given a pass for suffering. DNA and the manner in which they handle specific quarterbacks based on their identity, extending them grace. He is constantly shown grace by them, and this keeps happening. Yes, it does. Additionally, some people will ignore it and claim, oh, that's not true. They'll develop some fucking conspiracy theory. When it's about that close. It's directly in front of you. Correct in your face. What are you discussing? Indeed, they will persist in providing justifications for Ryan. In addition to opposing the double standard, Clark stated bluntly that Arch Manning is not who they are attempting to portray him as. Arch Manning is not a generational talent, Ryan stated. He was held to expectations without any proof. He is not a freshman who outperformed returning starters like Trevor Lawrence or Caleb Williams. Rather, Arch sat for 2 years as a 7th-round pick. Let him earn it. He's a good player who will be excellent. Arch has never had to contend with elite opposition. It will take time, but that's okay because he didn't play high school football in Louisiana or compete in the high school quarterback circuit. Regarding the claim that the Browns are purposefully undermining Shedeur, head coach Kevin Stefanski refuted the claims and stated that he is giving Shedeur the same amount of attention as he would any other rookie. Can you address this kind of recurring narrative that you're attempting to undermine Shedeur Sanders, particularly in light of yesterday's events and your failure to give him the 2 minutes? Yes, of course, I don't worry about things that are outside of myself. However, as with all of our rookies, I'm dedicated to his development. In other words, we will remain dedicated to our goal of improving our boys' health, and that is what I find most important. Regarding Deion's response, he stated that he doesn't care if the NFL is hurting his boys because he has already prepared them for success and they will be content with or without the league. I'm proud of all of my children, and I've prepared them for any scenario that life and sports might bring. That's what fathering is all about. It is a component of being a parent. That is a component of a relationship. Be straight. Whether football is played or not, all the standards will be the same. You had better believe that. You had better believe that. I look after mine. I always have too. You all understand what I mean. You had better believe that. You don't control us, Deion is saying now. Your approval is not necessary for my sons. The NFL machine is not necessary for their survival. They already have a strong legacy, culture, and economy. You need stars more than they need you if you want them. And for that reason alone, the NFL feels threatened. They play ball with the system because of the Mannings. They are a good fit. For the sponsors, they smile. The league can sell them with ease. However, the Sanders family is noisy. They have no regrets. They also don't submit to anyone. You can't hold this over us, Deion says as he insists they'll be okay with or without football. You cannot keep us silent by threatening endorsements or contracts. We are already powerful, well-known, and wealthy outside of your small group. You are aware that those proprietors dislike that kind of conversation. Black players that play their game and owe the system everything are what they desire. Shedeur, however, owes them nothing. He is not in a desperate situation. He doesn't have to kiss rings or gravel. He's bigger than most rookies will ever be when he enters the league. Now the NFL is concerned whether the league is sabotaging his sons, because either way, he's already set them up for success. And they'll be fine with or without the NFL. I'm proud of my kids, all of them, and I prepared my kids for any and everything that could possibly happen in life and in sports. That's part of fathering. That's part of parenting. That's part of having a relationship. Be straight. All the standards are going to be straight with or without football. You better believe that. You better believe that. I take care of mine, and I've always have. And y'all know what I mean. You better believe that. Now what Deion's saying is, you don't control us. My sons don't need your approval. They don't need the NFL machine to survive. They're already good financially, culturally, legacy-wise. If you want stars, you need them more than they need you. And that right there, that's why the NFL feels threatened. Because the Mannings, they play ball with the system. They fit the mold. They smile for the sponsors. They're easy for the league to sell. But the Sanders family, they're loud. They're unapologetic. And they don't bow down to anybody. When Deion says they'll be good with or without football, that's him saying, you can't hold this over us. You can't dangle contracts or endorsements to keep us quiet. We already got wealth, fame, and power outside of your little club. And you know those owners don't like that type of talk. They want black players who play their game, who owe the system everything. But Shedeur doesn't owe them. He's not desperate. He doesn't need to gravel or kiss rings. He's stepping into the league already bigger than most rookies will ever be. Now, the NFL doesn't just want good players. They want safe players, quarterbacks especially. The QB is the face of the franchise. The guy on the posters. The one they put in every State Farm or Gatorade ad. Now ask yourself, who do the corporations feel safer with? Arch Manning, football royalty, comes from the Manning dynasty that has been attached to the NFL for decades. Peyton and Eli are already on ESPN selling products, doing commercials, smiling for every sponsor in sight. Arch is a ready-made brand extension. He doesn't even have to be great yet. The family name is worth millions. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is a black quarterback, confident, flashy, unapologetic on social media, the son of a father who has openly criticized and challenged the football establishment. Culturally, Shedeur represents hip-hop, independence, and a new kind of quarterback swagger. And that's the stuff that makes corporate America nervous. So it's not just about stats. It's about who fits the face of the league mold in the eyes of advertisers and executives. And yes, we have to talk about race here because history doesn't lie. Every time a black quarterback comes along who doesn't fit the quiet, humble, just be happy to be here stereotype, the media drags them. Cam Newton, Lamar Jackson, Colin Kaepernick, they all felt that. Meanwhile, white quarterbacks with far less success, guys like Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, and now Arch Manning, get chance after chance after chance, hype after hype after hype, even when the results don't match the narrative. That's not a coincidence. That's systemic. The NFL is obsessed with keeping the quarterback position, the most visible, most marketable role aligned with a certain look, clean-cut, safe, preferably white. That's why Arch gets every benefit of the doubt. And let's circle back to Deion's quote. The Sanders are going to be okay with or without football. That independence is what really threatens the system because Shedeur is breaking the stereotype of needing the NFL's approval to succeed. And fans are noticing it too. Someone on X wrote, "One thing white America can't stand is a strong black man raising strong black men." If you pay close attention to the comments and negative reviews, the Sanders family hate comes from white America. And someone else said, "This is the unwritten truth." The hate for the Sanders family is wild. We're watching a public butt-breaking attempt. A strong black father and his confident son being punished for not bowing down. When they do it, it's bold. When we do it, it's a problem. Archie Manning openly controlled his sons' careers, told NFL teams where they wouldn't play, and was praised for it. His sons were labeled smart, prepared, and their draft stock went up. But Coach Prime and Shedeur, Coach Prime's called overbearing. Shedeur is labeled cocky. Suddenly, a top 10 pick isn't even a first-rounder. New York Giants, NFL owners, media. What's the difference between the Mannings and the Sanders? Well, now let me know what you think the difference is. Is it just about who's the better player, or is it racism and collusion? Drop your comments below. And as always, I'll catch you in the next video.